So one of the first things, one of the first initial signs that a guy is looking to be chased by you is he'll give you his number and he'll say something like, call me if you want to. He'll play back, but he'll give you his number. He won't even ask for your number because he's waiting for you to make the first move.
Any man, not a boy, any man that's serious and that's mature, when he sees something that he wants, he's going to come and get it. He's going to let his intentions be known. You're not going to have to ask no questions. You're not going to have to wonder what he's doing. You're not going to wonder what he wants. He's going to come get you, and you're going to know it. There's not going to be anything, any doubt in your mind about what his intentions are, because you're going to know if he's serious, if he's ready, and if he's mature. You have to grow to the point to where you take on that responsibility of putting yourself in that leadership role. That's where you're starting it. That's the initial contact. You're setting the tone at that particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
So what signal are you setting? What signal are you saying subconsciously by putting the ball in her hands?
I don't think that it's a bad signal or a signal of weakness at all, because again, he still made that first move. So that's not showing that he's not alpha, because he did make that first move, but allowing her to call first whenever she's ready, or even she might not even be interested. So asking for her number, she might give it and not really want to give it. So putting the ball in her court doesn't really mean that he's not being alpha. I think making that first step in general is a very dominant trait.
I'm here to stand on my soapbox and proclaim that to the world.
On this show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Ma, can we start off from the top?
YouTube, this video is going to be about signs a guy wants to be chased. Recently, I put up on my Facebook, on my Instagram, and on my YouTube community page, what videos do you want to see? And this was one of the questions I got. How to know if a guy wants to be chased. What are some signs that a guy is looking for you to chase him? Which isn't a good thing, obviously. So we want to find those signs. In general, when men want women to chase them, it's because they're non-committal. They don't want to do any of the work, and they're not looking for relationships. A woman chasing you puts out a lot easier. A woman chasing you is a lot more malleable, a lot more easy to control, a lot more easy to manipulate. So in that dynamic, when a woman is chasing you, it makes it a lot more easy to play with her and make use of her. So that's why a lot of guys do this. A lot of times men will throw some things out there to a woman to see if she is interested enough in him to chase him and to give him what he needs to have a good time and a convenient time with her. So one of the first things, one of the first initial signs that a guy is looking to be chased by you is he'll give you his number.
All right, so anybody have anything they want to say so far before we get into the actual?
Okay. Well, the first things first is his video should be named "How to Look Out for a Player," because I'm going to talk today about how a woman can chase a man and it benefits both of them better than a man chasing a woman as the term is used today. So everything he named from the beginning to the end is how to look out for a player. So I wanted to start with that because I'm probably going to reference it.
Anybody else got anything they want to cover on that topic, getting into it? The ladies?
I was just thinking the same thing. Just his topic is how men play women for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So
it's interesting. I look forward to seeing all the unfold here. I don't know. Maybe Roxanne, I'm the one who shouldn't have a real place to speak here, because people be like that in real life. That was my first response to that. This is, I was trying not to laugh, but
don't want to be a player, no.
Yeah. So for me, he already starts off and he says, for obvious reasons, any man who wants to be chased. My thing is, I want to get into what the definition of chase is. I'm big on words. Sometimes we count, giving a guy an interested look, a smile, as chasing. I'm not going to do that, and so I really hope that he's going to define it as we go over this. What does he mean by chasing?
He's not.
So yeah, I'm ready. We can keep on going.
Wait. Oh, sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Derek. Go ahead.
Actually, he's well. I don't want to get nothing away. No, go ahead.
All right, Ma, we're ready to go.
And he'll say something like, call me if you want to. He'll play back, but he'll give you his number. He won't even ask for your number because he's waiting for you to make the first move. He doesn't want to do anything to expose himself or anything to signify that he likes you. He wants to leave you in suspense, but he wants to also see if you like him enough to make the first move. He understands how uncomfortable it is for a lot of women. He understands how nervous that makes them, but he also wants to make sure that you like him enough to do that, because if you do, it gives him a signal that maybe he can have his way with you, and or he doesn't have to work as hard as some other women might make him work. So when men want to be chased, they often lead with, hey, here's my number, call me if you want, without even asking for your number or your social media or anything like that. He drops his number like a business card. He might even give you a business card. He needs the dynamic established that you are the one that contacts him from the very beginning. This is a terrible sign. If a guy offers you his number, tell him you don't call men first. You don't chase men. If he wants your number, he can call you. And then you say, do you want my number? If he says no, he's doing you a favor because he wanted to be chased. He was going to play with you. Most men, if they are interested and they just misspoke or they misstepped because they don't know how to deal with women and they're trying to learn from other alpha creators, most men with real interest will say, well, okay, if you say so, yes, I want your number. And then you tell them, and I'm a caller, not a texter. Don't let no man text message you for 89 weeks. It's such a waste of time and you get nowhere fast. So if a man offers you his number without asking for yours, tell him you don't chase men. That's not how things work. If he wants your number, he can have it, but he calls you first. If he doesn't like that, then you wasn't going to get nothing from him in the beginning. You didn't scare him away with your standards. Never take a man's number or call him when he tells you to call him. You tell him you don't chase men, offer your number, and tell him to call you. The second thing you guys do when they're trying to create leverage to be chased by a woman is once they get your number and
We
you
can stop it
banter
right
or
there.
flirt or speak.
Because we just completed number one, and we'll just kind of go around the first time and say, in short, do you agree or disagree? Derek, how about you? Do you agree, disagree?
I disagree.
Roxanne, you agree, disagree?
Disagree.
Sarah, agree, disagree? Coach, agree, disagree? I think you're still on mute, Coach.
Agree to an extent.
And I'm gonna go with there's some truth in what he's saying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say, but I'm about to go to the opposite and say I disagree to an extent just to make it balance. All right, so as far as since you took the degree to this extent, Coach, you want to pop it off?
Yeah. So I do agree with the fact that a person that is going to place themselves in a position to where they're not leading by placing the control in the hands of a woman is because he doesn't want to be in a leadership role already right off the bat. The reason why I said I don't completely agree is because it may not be that he wants the woman to lead. That could be it, but it could also be, as Derek was saying, that he's just trying to play the field, and he doesn't have the backbone to accept rejection. So it can go different ways with that. So I do agree that there's something wrong. It is a flag. I do believe a woman should run from that situation, but his overall objective, it's not always going to be the same thing. That's my 2 cents.
All right, Sarah, you want to share why you disagree with the video? You want some more time, or you think you?
No, I apologize. No, I'll go ahead
Yeah.
now. So, but I was reconsidering the video. What I was disagreeing with off the fly was just more than just what the video was showing, I think. Should women run from the type of man that he was describing in the video? Yes, I agree with that. I don't think it matters the reason. The end result is they should run. That I do agree with, actually.
Okay. All right, Roxanne?
Yeah, I disagree because if you look at from a different perspective, different context. I am not a shy female. I'm okay making the first move. And if a gentleman asks me or gives me his number and says, call if you want, if you change the context in the conversation, it could be that he's empowering the woman to reach out on her own time when she feels like it, if she's interested. But if he takes my number and I give it to him and he just blows up my phone, that's annoying as heck. So he's empowering the female to make that move if she's interested, but he still made that first move. It doesn't mean the female has to make the first move. He made the move by giving out his number.
I think that's an interesting way to look at it right there. Derek?
Yep. Well, I think you have to look at the times. Look at the era that we live in right now as it pertains to dating. And the reason I started off by saying that he's talking more about a player, because I actually think men over 40 that have any Christian values shouldn't chase a woman. And I'm going to use the quotes, shouldn't chase a woman the way that the world does. But if you look at the state of how women are today, and I say this statistically, not every woman, but the majority in the dating pool, the problem ends up being this. You have so many entitled people out there. You have women who have 800 people in their DMs, and they got all these friends that are just hanging in the balance. And here's what I know. A woman that wants you will show interest in you, whether it's first, whether it's second, whether it doesn't matter. The caveat to this should be this. When a woman shows interest in you, now does the man want her? Because if a man wants a woman and that woman shows interest in him and she's saying, "Look, I'm coming after you," and he wants her, it's game over. It's game over. It's going to be a good thing. But if you're trying to play her like this guy is suggesting, then it is what it is.
Okay. Anybody got any comments, any response to Derek?
Man, I'll just say this, kind of feedback off what Derek just said. I said this a long time ago. Any man, not a boy, any man that's serious, that's mature, when he sees something that he wants, he's gonna come and get it. He's gonna let his intentions be known. You're not going to have to ask no questions. You're not going to have to wonder what he's doing. You're not going to wonder what he wants. He's going to come get you, and you're going to know it. There's not going to be anything in any doubt in your mind about what his intentions are, because you're going to know if he's serious, if he's ready, and if he's mature.
Yeah, I think that part of the difficulty with this kind of conversation is we tend to, a lot of times, and I'm not saying this applies to anybody on here, but we tend to apply it to ourselves and our situations. When the world, there's so many different variables happening. People have different issues, and we believe in mental health. If we believe in mental health, then we understand that some people have different temperaments, different personalities, different anxieties, and that can affect how they approach women in the dating market, especially when there's so many different pressures that are going on as well. If you take a guy who's not particularly good looking, not particularly tall, didn't have money to that extent, he knows that a lot when he knows his percentage when he approaches women, whatever that number is. He knows that percentage, even if he doesn't know the number. It's hard for me because I hear what you're saying, Coach, on that one, but it's hard for me to tell a guy like that who's, I hate to throw numbers out there, I just use 5'6" or something like that. A regular average guy, 5'6", not particularly funny, a good guy, but not the best with his words, and more the strong silent type. And tell that guy he has to go over there and spontaneously generate a relationship with somebody he doesn't know, and that he has to go full force into that situation. And any anxiety that he has should be a question of his manhood. Not saying that you were saying that. But what do y'all thought? What do y'all think about that?
No, yeah, it's true. There is a. You do have to play into consideration personality traits, as well as a person's strength and weakness. It's a lot easy for somebody that's an extrovert like myself, that are what some people would call a alpha male, versus somebody who's not, who's an introvert, and may not be an alpha male. So it's much easier for myself. So that's true. I agree with that 100%. But I also agree that to some degree, you have to grow to the point to where you take on that responsibility of putting yourself in that leadership role.
Yeah.
From
Yeah, so real
beginning, from the
quickly,
initial, because that's where you're starting it. That's the initial contact. You know, you're setting the tone at that particular moment.
mhm.
So what signal are you setting? What signal are you saying subconsciously by putting the ball in her hands?
I don't think that it's a bad signal or a signal of weakness at all, because again, he still made that first move. So that's not showing that he's not alpha, because he did make that first move, but allowing her to call first whenever she's ready, or even she might not even be interested. So asking for her number, she might give it and not really want to give it. So putting the ball in her court doesn't really mean that he's not being alpha. I think making that first step in general is a very dominant trait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I hear that.
sorry, real quickly,
It's
Dre,
very rare that I hear a woman take that.
sorry, Dre.
Go
Before you
ahead.
respond, I want to read these comments real quick. And so we had to play this BS twice. Come on, Skip. I don't know if I've heard a guy say I want to be chased. Excited to be here from Dr. A. Williams. Welcome back to the show. Thanks again, Help the Bear as well. And then my guy Keith in the building. Took him a long time to come and support, but that guy James a bad man. Hilarious. And then Help the Bear. How many fake numbers have you guys got? That's a good question right there. So getting back into it, Dre, I know you had a response. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I was just replying to her. I don't know or come across many young ladies that have her stance. Not saying that she's wrong, but it's rare that I ever hear a woman come from that standpoint. Very rare.
Yeah.
So,
Taking myself out. Can you hear me?
yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So taking myself, my personal experience out of consideration and thinking of others that I've spoken with and I've come across, there are some women who are okay with that. And I think that echoes what's been said by a couple of panelists this evening. There are some women who want to have a man who presents themselves in that position. They like that role. Now, does that work for everybody? No, because it wouldn't work for me on any level, on any day, in any shape, form, or fashion. But there are people who genuinely are okay with that type of interaction and those types of relationships. So when Vulcan was talking about, all the variables and the people in today's society, those things do need to be considered. And I also like to say that with those things being considered, it's been brought up about mental health. Like when one is seeking to be in a relationship that's going to be fulfilling and lasting into whatever end goal that they designed that they want, they're going to need to be able to build themselves up to a position to effectively go after that type of relationship. And then they have to see, okay, well, what is the role that I want to play in that type of relationship, that long game? Because otherwise it really is just about being a player. It's just about being a player.
Yeah, Derek, you got anything?
I agree
real quickly, I do want to. Sorry, go ahead. You want to say something, Derek?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, because it was brought up about how many fake numbers have you guys got. And this goes to what Roxanne and Coach is saying, and also Sarah and Derek. The reality is I've spoken to many women who have said that because of the fact that men can be so aggressive, even, assertive, aggressive, and because of that, women will give out fake numbers. Then they can't give out fake numbers anymore because guys are going to call the number while you're still there. So ladies say they have to give a real number and just block him once they get out of his presence. So it could be the case, and I've heard a number of women share this with me. I'm like, why you give him your number? Why to block him? Well, I gave him his number because I don't want to die. Sorry, I don't get deleted. Sorry about that. And so but the reality is, and I don't know, I don't live in that world. Us guys don't live in that world. I never even had that thought. But the reality, if that's the case, a guy who's taking a little bit more of a passive approach or more equal, egalitarian approach, for some ladies might actually find that more attractive and more alpha, because like if you're truly confident in that way, then you don't have to assert yourself and impose yourself on me in this moment here, because you have this advantage, this hulking figure over me telling me I want your number, and he's not going away. And I'm not even saying the guy's being a bad guy when he's not going away. He's just doing what he thinks he's supposed to do. In sales, you learn to be confident. You learn to keep that confidence all the way through. And whatever objections or stalls you get, you overcome those things. And so he may be doing that, but on the other person's side of it, it could be intimidating. It could be borderline coercion.
React with that. I mean, I've been in so many situations with other females where they're just like, help me get away from this guy, because of exactly that situation. They're just being too aggressive, and it's hard to just walk away sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So anybody else got any more on that before we cut to the next vid?
Yep.
So we have some more comments. I'll read the comments. What y'all think about that? Sarah, are you calling or not? We need to know. And then I have given my dad's number if they are. Oh yeah. So Dr. A says, I have given my dad's number if they are too assertive. I have given my dad's number if they are too assertive. So that's part of what the ladies are responding to guys who are not even aggressive, but just assertive. Anybody want to comment on any of the comments before we get back to the video?
No.
All right, Mod, we're ready. Let's get back to the video.